Our findings and working with the victims or survivors of sexual violence, resulting from the conflict shows that women play multiple roles in the conflict, which is quite complex. And yet a number of times when people do research or work on these issues, it's hard to, put a finger on it. We do find that women are both, victimized, but they also play roles in perpetuating violence during the conflict. So for us, that is something that is very striking, and yet it's often hardly spoken about, or it's often hardly articulated. And I think for me that has huge implications for how women can return back and revert back to their roles, in the post-conflict period. So I certainly think it's a very important finding from our work. From the findings of our research, we've used the results to engage with policymakers, with stakeholders, including the government of our country, which is Uganda, including civil society groups, to say, look, this is what we find about the situation of women who have come through the conflict. This is what is going on with their lives. And that has helped to inform the ongoing reparations and transitional justice policy in the country. We now have a draft transitional justice plan in the country, and that partly is informed by the work of the different actors, including the work that we've done with women survivors of the conflict. So we've really engaged with the process both at the higher level, but also at the local level. And example, of course, has been now we have the Human Rights Documentation Project, which is being started by the Uganda Human Rights Commission, which is the official human rights body of the country. And using some of our own, experiences working with women, we've been able to inform them when you go out to the community, how do they reach out to, these victims, sexual violence survivors, when they're out in the field? How do they approach them? What sort of things should they put in mind when they're working with survivors? Because it's a complex group of people that they need to approach them in a more, special way. Pay attention to the fact that there's stigma and, ostracization around, the experience of violence, and a lot of them don't want to be identified. So really shaping that process so that the documentation process can pick on the experiences of the women and that they're not left out.